Tried it and counting. Hey. Mr. Hanford, hello. This is Jeff. Jeff's my newest student in Spirit Wind, and so he agreed to take some pain for us today so I can demonstrate some of this. Today, I think, is Jeff's 5th lesson, so we'll just hopefully not hurt him too bad. So we were talking about the Hanshin version of a Nikyo, so I'll just real quick catch Jeff up. Can you just do like a lapel grab? And so what we're going to do is just the first Nikyo, which didn't have any elbow bend. And of course, in Spirit Wind, we always give a little bit to the pressure. If he's pushing at all, I'm going to give, but it's also a nice time for a counter strike, heel over. Now here's the straight arm Nikyo. The way I learned this from Dr. Glenn Morris, who at the time was a 7th dan under Hatsumi, but then later became Soka through one of those big organizations. He just had us pin this. We held it with 2 hands. It's just like you were folding your hands to pray or to bow reverently, and then we would literally just bow. And so I still keep 1 foot forward for balance, but it's just a bow. And there's your ulnar nerve pinch. So at this point, you could do this all the way to the floor, right? You could do it all the way to the floor backwards if he was pulling instead of pushing, because we're using water principle. But we didn't call that anything but Nikyo, even Dr. Morris. He had a technique, I'll just show the technique actually, where he would do this. Then he would bring the person all the way to the floor, and he would actually trap that wrist with his groin and have his hands free to do anything else. So that's the first way I learned that technique. But, yep, go ahead. The Weinbrenners and Doug Custer, my Hapkido instructor, they all taught the same gooseneck you're talking about. We call it a gooseneck. Some people call it a Z-lock or something. But the difference is now you've got the Ikkyo compression, this compression, to combine with that nerve pinch. It's a better lock. It works a lot better, and you have more control laterally over where they go. I can point the elbow to bring him this way. I can also lift him, you ready? Back up with that same wrist lock pain. So I have more control over his movement if I have a bent arm. And that's your traditional Nikyo. And in Japanese, Nikyo just means second technique. It was traditionally the second thing that they learned after Ikkyo. But if you watch Aikido videos online, you'll see that their Ikkyo is not our wrist roll up. Their Ikkyo is just like what we call Gokyo, probably, Gokyu. Anyway, it's a totally different thing. But they just numbered Ikkyo, Nikyo, Sankyo, Yankyo, Gokyo. Those are just numbers of techniques. Nikyo is the second technique. But you're talking about the inverted one. About 1996, I was messing around with Sankyo with my students, and we did this upside down Nikyo as a Sankyo. And yeah, it works. It hurts, right? Especially if you start compressing more. You see what happened to Jeff when I started compressing with the Ikkyo. And I bend the elbow, and then I torque on it. So that, I'm sorry about all that.
You're good.
So that inverted Nikyo works really well in a Sankyo position. Even more if I do it properly. I'm trying not to hurt Jeff, but I'll show you real quick. I get into this position. A Sankyo should not be done with us facing the same direction. We should be teed up. A tee-up technique means his shoulders tee into the center of my sternum, right? So that's how this technique should be done. If I get back into position, now it's going to hurt like son of a beehive, so I'm going to be careful, but I get the 90 degrees here, the 90 degrees here, I get the rotation here, and then I turn my hips to face him. And that's the pressure. It's full body motion so that all of my conformation, I guess, supports the technique. So tee-up technique. We did that back in '96 when we were experimenting with Hapkido and Jishinryu, because we were doing the Jishinryu Sankyo and we were doing the Hapkido Nikyo. And we're like, oh, this works pretty well. Well, then we abandoned that for 15 years until 2011. Walker Plank, who took over Soka Weinbrenner's Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. So it comes from the Harageru originally, just like your stuff does, I guess, more or less. He started teaching it as a sword technique. So in 2011, he came and taught a seminar. You better give me a little space when I show this. And what he said was, if your technique is based on the sword, do everything as though you were using your sword. Reach for your sword. Draw and cut with your sword. However your stance is going to be, it doesn't really matter. So let's just say I'm dominant foot forward. Then he said Chiburi, which is your blood flicking. Then he said Chiburi 2, second blood flicking. Then he said just put it away. All right, so here's my whole technique. It's kind of like Iaido. Oh, my rubber band broke. It's kind of like Iaido. It's just draw, cut, flick, flick, resheath. All right, so now I show that on a human being. Jeff reaches in with that right hand. I reach for my sword. Then I do my sword cut. Then I do my first chiburi, which gets him into this armbar. And then I do my second chiburi, and this one hurts like a son of a gun. It's the one where you flick the blood over your shoulder off of the sword. But if I do that J hook with my finger, that Nikyo hurts really, really bad. It's one of the worst things you can do to people in spirit with. So cut down, flick to the side, and you get that sumiatoshi, which we don't call sumiatoshi, just our outside armbar. But then from there, J-hook that key finger, whoop, and you get some wicked pain. That's that inverted Nikyo you guys are working on. All right. Thank you. So as for the Hanshin, I'm completely unfamiliar with the Hanshin with a CH terminology. Hanshin with an SH is a little more familiar. You'll find it probably if you search online. Hanshin kind of ironically could translate to half-hearted, which is funny because that's kind of a half-hearted Nikyo. You don't bend the arm. But I don't think that's where the name came from. Han is half. A Han Mi stance, this open stance, it means half step. And then a Han Bo, a 4-foot bow or a 3-foot bow, 3 foot really, Jo is 4 feet. Han Bo means half a bow, so half of a 6-foot staff is a 3-foot staff. So Han means half, and then Shin meaning like spirit or like, I don't know. You'll find a lot of things that Shin translates to, but in the case where you put Han and Shin together, I'd say that means half-hearted. That's just kind of an aside. It's not probably how it got its name. I'm not sure about the terminology, but I am sure about the locks. The locks can be done in a variety of ways. If I can show on Jeff again real quick. This Nikyo can be done to the side, right? So all I do is just grab that and I go to the side. And I want him to move, I just move him like this. I want him to come back, I bring him back like this. I want him to drop, I drop him like this. And then I switch it to a different joint lock if I want to. How we use that chiburi, this really painful chiburi, is just to hand it off into a sankyo. And the sankyo is a tee-up technique as well, right? Like we talked about earlier. Okay, well, doesn't answer your terminology question very well, sir, but hopefully you get to see some ways that both Walker and I have done the Nikyo and the inverted Nikyo. Thank you, sir.